Money isn't the goal. It's the language of our choices, the reflection of our values, the mirror of how we spend our time. But most people never stop to ask, what is money really buying us? Welcome back to the channel where we talk about thinking like the top 1%, not in terms of just money, but in mastering your mindset. Today, we're unlocking a game-changing concept. How to see money not just as currency, but as a vote for the life you want to build. Section 1. Money as a mirror. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what is money really? Most people say money is power, or freedom, or survival. But let's go deeper. What if money is none of those things, and all of them at once? What if money is a mirror? Not just a tool for transactions, but a reflection of who you are, what you value, and what you believe you're worthy of. Think about it. Every time you spend $1, you're not just buying something. You're casting a vote for what matters to you, a vote for what you prioritize, a vote for how you want your life to feel. That daily coffee run, the shoes you bought because they were on sale, the expensive dinner you didn't really enjoy but posted anyway. All of it adds up to something bigger than the receipts. It tells a story. Your story. And if you trace the patterns, if you really pay attention, your money will show you something profound. It will show you who you think you are. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Money doesn't lie. It shows you what you truly value, not what you say you value. You might say family matters most. But are your spending choices reflecting that? You might say health is a priority. But is your bank statement filled with takeout and energy drinks? You might say freedom is the goal. But if your purchases are keeping you in debt, are you moving toward it or away? It's not about judgment. It's about awareness. Money is neutral. It has no emotion, no bias, no morality. But how you use it reveals everything. Because money flows toward what you trust. And if you spend recklessly, impulsively, or avoid looking at your finances altogether, it's not about the money. It's about what you're running from, or what you're trying to fill. The way you spend money often speaks louder than your words ever will. And that's why it's so powerful. Because when you change the way you see money, you change the way you see yourself. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Pull up your last 30 days of spending. Look at it not through the lens of guilt, but through curiosity. Ask yourself, what was I feeling when I made this purchase? Was I buying from alignment or avoidance? Is this helping me become who I want to be? You'll start to notice patterns, emotional triggers, habits, even wounds you didn't know were there. Money is a mirror. It will reflect back every fear, every dream, every belief you carry. And when you choose to look into it, not with shame, but with courage, something shifts. You stop spending unconsciously, you stop chasing status, and you start aligning your life with what actually matters to you. Not what society tells you to want, but what your soul actually craves. So the next time you reach for your wallet, pause. Ask yourself, what am I really paying for? Because you're not just buying things. You're telling the world who you are. And maybe it's time you told a different story. Section 2. The trade. No one talks about. Every time you buy something, you're not just trading money. You're trading time. You're trading energy. You're trading pieces of your life. But most people never realize this. They swipe the card and move on. Let's get honest. If you earn $30 an hour and you buy something that costs $300, you're not spending money. You're spending 10 hours of your life. 10 hours where you worked, sat in traffic, answered emails, dealt with stress, all so that one purchase could be possible. But no one shows you that trade. We're taught to look at price tags in dollars, but not in hours. In digits, but not in meaning. And this is where the shift happens. Because once you start seeing money as a measure of time and energy, not just cash, you can't unsee it. Suddenly that $40 dinner you barely remember, that's over an hour of your life, gone. That $150 impulse buy during a bad mood, that's a whole afternoon's worth of work. Money is just a storage unit. A container that holds time, effort, and moments you can't get back. And that makes every dollar sacred. Because what you're really trading is life, and life is short. Here's something to try. Next time you're about to spend money, ask yourself, how many hours of my life is this worth? Not in guilt, not in restriction, but in awareness, in power. Because when you understand the true cost of what you buy, not just the price but the life behind it, something changes. You become more intentional. You stop buying out of boredom or emotion. You start buying from purpose. Most people think freedom comes from having more. But real freedom begins when you stop giving your time away for things that don't matter. When you stop bleeding hours into stuff that steals your peace. When you realize that your time is priceless, and every purchase is a piece of it. So here's the truth no one talks about. Every financial decision is a time decision, and every time decision shapes your life. This isn't about cutting back. It's about choosing deliberately, because when you protect your time, you protect your power. And when you protect your power, money becomes a tool, not a trap. You don't just earn money. You earn time back when you spend with intention. And that is the wealth no one can take from you. Section 3. High-impact choices. Life is filled with decisions, small ones, big ones. Some that feel urgent, but don't really matter. And some that feel quiet, but shape your entire future. When it comes to money, there's a secret most people never learn. Not every decision matters equally. You don't need to control every expense to build wealth. You just need to master the right ones. Here is the things that you need to care about. Think about it like this. You could track every coffee you buy, or you could focus on the decisions that actually move the needle. Your rent, your car, your job, your investments. These are your high-impact choices. These few decisions, maybe 5 or 6 across your entire adult life, will determine 80% of your financial reality. It's the 80-20 rule in action. 80% of the results come from 20% of the choices. One person is exhausted, focused on pennies. The other, focused on leverage. It's not about being perfect, it's about being strategic. Ask yourself, am I living in a place that supports my goals or just my ego? Am I driving something that aligns with my values or my insecurities? Am I growing my income or settling for less out of fear? Am I letting my money sleep in a bank account or making it work for me? The difference between financial stress and financial peace? It's not hustle, it's not luck, it's alignment. You can stop sweating the small stuff. When you get the big things right, that's the mindset shift that separates the 1% from the anxious majority. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't come from restriction. It comes from intention. From placing your energy where it matters most. From realizing that not all choices deserve your stress. Only the ones that shape your life. The irony? Once you dial in the high-impact choices, the little ones take care of themselves. Because you're no longer reacting, you're building. So stop trying to micromanage every dollar. Start designing the few powerful decisions that build your future. Because when you get the big things right, everything else starts to fall into place. Section 4. Designing a life you love. What if the real goal of money wasn't to buy more things? What if the real goal was to build a life that feels like you? Not impressive, not trendy, just honest, aligned, free. Here's something most people never hear. You're allowed to build a life that looks nothing like the world's version of success. No luxury car, no 5-bedroom house, no pressure to prove anything to anyone. Just peace, just purpose. Because in the end, wealth isn't about what you can buy. It's about what you no longer need to chase. But to get there, you need to ask deeper questions. Not, what can I afford? But, what do I want my days to feel like? What do I want to wake up to? What do I want to give my energy to? And what do I want to release? Designing a life you love doesn't start with a bigger income. It starts with clarity. Clarity about your values. Clarity about your energy. Clarity about what makes you feel rich, on your terms. You could make 6 figures and still feel trapped. Or earn far less, and feel completely free. Because freedom isn't a number, It's a choice. So here's a different way to think about money. Use it to protect your time. Use it to support your values. Use it to create space for what matters. Here's a small but powerful question to ask yourself every time you make a financial decision. Does this bring me closer or further from the life I actually want? If it brings you closer, it's an investment. If it pulls you further, it's a distraction. Design isn't just for architecture or websites. You are the architect of your life. And money? It's just one of your tools. Not the point. Just the paintbrush. So stop living by default. Start living by design. Because when your money reflects your values and your time reflects your truth, you stop chasing life and start living it. So here's your challenge. For 1 week, track not just what you spend, but what it costs you in time, in energy, in alignment. You might be surprised by what you learn. If this message sparked something in you, share it with someone you care about. And if you're serious about living intentionally, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started.